one more time for Alex.
All right, Alex. This is a story about a promise in absolute values that was not kept, or if you look at it statistically, it was kept. So before we start, there are 3 good qualities to a story. Number 1, they begin with no shit, true story. Number 2, so there I was. And number 3, they contain a character named Jim Smith. This is going to be a great story. So there I was, 15-year-old. No shit, true story. My sister's wedding. Now you got to understand, I came from a family of 10 kids. So this was the first wedding, the second wedding, I should say. After the first wedding, I had this amazing feeling. Oh my God, this was the best party in the whole world, and we have 9 more of these to go? Little did I know, by the time the 9th one came around, I'm like, oh, do we have to go to my sister's wedding? So it was in the middle of winter. Now, I said I was 15 years old. I had just began my drinking career, so you got to keep that in mind. Back then, we did things on the cheap with a big family. So we made all our decorations. We had the wedding ceremony on the side of the church in the church hall, and we got all the alcohol. File that away. On the day of the wedding, we got the station wagon loaded up, and we drove over. Now, at this point, you have to drive to the back of the church, walk down this long corridor to where you dropped everything off. Halfway through the first trip of carrying things back, I figured out, my God, if I go into the bathroom, stall for 30 seconds, I have time where I can take some booze out, stash it somewhere, and everyone, I have a minute and a half to put it away. So that happened. Now, do you remember when you're doing something bad at home and the car pulls up and you're running around like you're a chicken with a head cut off trying to figure out what to do? That was me. I had the beer, but I didn't know what to do with it. But fortunately, I was a 15-year-old and I had one secret weapon. The comb in the back pocket. Now the comb served a dual purpose. It helped pick locks. So there I was, the janitor's closet. I opened it, found the mop, put the beer behind it. I was so good, I was able to get another 8-pack of ponies behind that as well. I went home, got dressed for the wedding. Now, here's the kicker. I was the altar boy for the wedding service. So the wedding concludes. We all get to the ceremony on the side of the church in the church hall. Everyone's having fun, drinking. And I say to my buddy, Jim Smith, hey, Jim, I got beer. Follow me. So I go out, pull out my comb, pick the lock again. We have the beer. Now what do we do? Well, it just so happens there was an office at the end of the hallway. Open it up. We go inside. We're drinking, having the time of our life. Now, I forgot to tell you, this was the office of the religious director, who happened to be a nun. We're drinking, telling good stories. I'm rifling through her desk. We figured it was time to get back. Now, the last thing my intelligent brain told me to do was, there was a vase on her desk that was shaped like a crazy straw. Remember them? A signal was sent from my brain to my hand saying, fill that vase up with beer. Hey, Jim, let's get back to the wedding. So we go. The night ends. I should just say this one last detail. I went to church after after the ceremony. My parents went home. Our neighbors were bringing us. The Diggins, the old neighbors down the road, were going to take me home. After Mass, I'm still drunk. I say, can you wait 1 minute? I sneak back, get that other 8-pack of beer, stick it in my coat. There I am sitting in the back of their car. This is a great wedding. Put the beer in the stairwell, went inside, forgot about it. The next day I call Schmitty up. I say, Schmitty, I got beer. So Schmitty meets me down at the creek. We drink our beers, get loaded again. For some reason, the following Monday, my parents had made this crazy idea that you need to get jobs this summer. You're going to work at the Acme. So we had to travel up somewhere near King of Prussia to fill out applications. Now, it wasn't really that eventful of a day. I never worked at Acme. But when I got home, I opened the door. There was standing my mother and all of my other siblings. And she's like, and then she locked her eyes in on my brother Tim. Now, my brother Tim was the usual suspect for everything bad. And my brother Tim, he must have just said, it wasn't me. And my mom must have like penetrated his gaze. And then she scoped around the rest of the room, locked in on me. Now, she gave me enough courtesy to lie and say, hey, Ma, it wasn't me. She yanked me by the scruff of my neck, took me all the way upstairs to the bedroom. Probably my feet touched the ground once. And in there, she read the riot act to me. It was the worst. We have to leave the church. Whatever. You know, a beating would have been better. Son, go out and get a stick. If it's too thin, I'm going to beat you harder. I would have liked that. Just when I thought it was dying down, my mom pulls out the Bible. You must swear that you won't drink till you're 21! What am I going to do? I swear. Now, the long and short of it was, I actually kept that promise, except for one night in college. And I happened to be with this woman who I was in love with. We drank, I got drunk, she left. Later on, I got married to her. Later on, I married my next wife, but we'll know the story. I'm wrapping up. Here it is, 2 months before my 21st birthday. I've been celibate, alcohol-wise, all along. I get a phone call from my mom. I was just talking with your sister Laura, and she told me this story about how I made you promise not to drink, and I don't remember making that promise. You don't remember making that promise. Well, I give you permission to drink now. Mom, I've gone this far. I think I can wait 2 more months. So, in the end, on my 21st birthday, I drank at the stroke of midnight, the night before, and then again the next day, and I made up for it ever since. But for those previous years, I did all right for myself. So, was it a promise kept? Was it a promise not kept? I'll leave that up to St. Peter. Thank you.